Mido, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. Congratulations on Murder at the Embassy. I had a lot of fun with the film. You know what? Just to start with, telling us just a little bit about it. It's interesting doing these interviews for this kind of movie because there's so much that I just rather the audience sink their teeth into it themselves and go on the same journey I did. But it's also a really fun privilege to get to talk to you and to learn more about Mahmoud and really everything that went on in filming. So tell us a little bit about the film.
Well, Murder at the Embassy is it's kind of like an Agatha Christie kind of murder mystery, and it takes place in 1930s Egypt at the British Embassy in Cairo. And a murder happens, and a very famous detective, Miranda Green, she gets invited by the ambassador to come and investigate. For some reason, the ambassador does not want to get the police involved. And my job as the head of security of the embassy is to find out who committed the murder. But obviously, I'm also had my nose put out that somebody from the outside is coming to tell me how to do my job. So in the end, Misha, who plays Miranda Green, and myself, we go on this journey to uncover and see what the actual story is.
Yeah, it's
So
it's
I
all
think that's it in a nutshell.
yeah, you did a great job. Tell me a little bit about your approach for Mahmoud because one of the things that makes these stories work so well is that a lot of times, besides of course the person doing the investigating, um, everyone's really a suspect. So while we know you're the head of security at the embassy, there also has to be like could he also be a suspect? Is he a suspect? How did you approach your character?
Well, I can't really give that much away because if I say it, then you know that I'm not or I am the suspect. So I think what I will say is that everybody's a suspect until proven innocent. And so all of us that are in the embassy at that time, because it's a confined space, are suspects in the investigation. And for me, how do I approach it? I always kind of approach it with what's on the page, and just kind of really just play that and the dynamics between the actual people and the characters. So Miranda Green and Mahmoud, they have a very particular relationship, which is a little bit frosty and prickly in the beginning, and the audience will get to see why that is, obviously. And I think as much as I can say is it does shift and change, but I won't say in which direction.
I love how every time she asked you for something, you kind of or like there's this like, oh no, like I'm not, and then it makes it a little bit comical in that sense, but we see where you're coming from because like you said, this is supposed to be your place where you're really in charge as far as security, and now someone's kind of bossing you around. With that, actually, tell me a little bit about working with Mischa Barton, who plays Miranda, because you guys do have probably the most screen time together.
Yes. Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, we had a really, really good time working together. And we got to work in this amazing location. I mean, you saw it. We were at the pyramids on the Giza Plateau. We were uh, in the bazaar, in the Great Bazaar of Cairo, which is called Khan el-Khalil. And then we were on I don't want to, we were on the Nile as well, and they're doing some things. So I got to watch myself here. So we got to actually explore Cairo really. And I wouldn't say in depth, but we really got to see some highlights of that city, and we got to experience it together. And it was great fun. I mean, I had such a blast doing this, and Misha's fantastic to work with. She's so committed and so in it, and we had great fun together.
So you guys were on location in Egypt for the shoot?
Yes, well, you can't fake those
Oh man.
pyramids.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's
That's a
really
that's a
cool.
real camel I rode there. Come on, you didn't say anything about my camel riding skills. Did you not see that?
I know we saw your camel riding skills. How was that? Had you ridden the camel before? I've done it actually. For my honeymoon, we did camel riding in Mexico of all places,
Okay.
and I loved it. I'm a fan of camels. Well, how what was your experience with the camels? Now that you
Oh
brought it up.
man. Yes, it was great fun. I had done it before, but each camel is such an individual animal, and getting up and down with the camel is quite an adventure. So, getting to know the camels and the camel caretakers that were there and getting introduced to the animal was fantastic. And we didn't have that much time with him, but we had enough time. So it was really, a lot of fun. That's probably one of the highlights is you get to do something that you don't get to do every day, even when you go on set. Something like that location. Just to give you an example, we got to the Giza Plateau at like 5 in the morning and the sun was just coming up. And so the sun was just coming up right over the pyramids. And I just took a moment to just kind of, take this in because this definitely does not happen on every job. So yes, that was extraordinary.
Must have been a moment of like, man, I really love my job right now.
Yes, exactly. That was exactly it. It's feeling blessed and then of
Mhm.
course, you got to do a little bit of acting in between, but we felt so blessed just to be there and to get to see the sun come up and be at the pyramids and get to shoot these incredible locations. It really was thrilling.
That's really cool. I'm really happy that you got to do experience something like that. Egypt is one of my um just like top places I want to visit. Actually, it might be the top place I want to visit. Just
Have you not
because
been yet?
I have not. No, actually, I have not been anywhere near, outside of the United States on that side. The closest I've gone is New York, as
Okay,
far as here.
okay.
But it's part of our couple year plans to do trips like
Mhm.
this. But like I said, Egypt, it's always been a fascinating place to me. Always love studying it. I think their history is amazing, and yeah, I've the pyramids. That's like I've always wanted to see them, so I look forward to doing that. I'm glad you got to experience them and work at the same time.
Blessing, blessing. And you should definitely go. I can highly, highly recommend it.
Amazing. One thing about the film that I noticed that's always great that I always find fun is when you don't have a big cast and yet you're able to have an effective story, knowing that you have a set number of people who are going to be able to deliver a feature-long film and keep audiences engaged. Can you talk to me a little bit about that, about just the small cast and how you guys are able to really deliver an effective film?
Yeah, I think that that's one of the really interesting parts of it. It becomes kind of like a play in a way. In plays, you also have, a certain amount of number that's not too big and that, it's limited in a way. And you build relationships off camera. And then you're able to take those relationships on camera and you get to have them with every single person because there's only so few of you. So I think it becomes a lot more intimate. And the experience that you have is a lot more intimate and shared because of that, especially when you then go and you travel to this incredible location. And everybody has their own version of how they took that experience in, so you get to share and see that. And then you get to do the actual work. And the work is yeah, I think intimate is the right word. You get to know each other a little bit more because it's only a few of us.
And speaking of the work, how is the work being directed by Steven Shemek? What was your experience with him?
Oh, it was fantastic. We had a really, like I said, it was really, really easy. It's like one of my favorite genres to be a part of. I had never done this genre before, this kind of murder mystery and Agatha Christie style kind of thing. I hadn't had a chance to do that. So I was very excited to be part of that. And Stephen really just kind of let us do our thing and let the camera do its thing. And he was great in the direction that he gave us, but he also let the location affect us, because it does happen when you go to certain locations. They do have a very strong effect on you and what you deliver and what you do. And I think he was able to capture that.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to take you into like the 30s, and you're in Egypt. Yeah, so why not allow the mythicism of a place that's revered by so many affect you and because you're gonna like I can tell by talking with you you're very it meant a lot to you to be there. So why not take those natural emotions and put them on film, right?
Exactly, exactly. You got it. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Mido, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. It means a lot to get to talk to you. Um, And congratulations on the film. This is one of my favorite genres too. So to be able to have another film to really to watch to enjoy this kind of roller coaster of a ride with the twists and turns is always fun.
Brilliant. Thank you, Manny. Appreciate it. Thank
It was
you.
nice to meet you. Thanks for your
Nice to
time
meet you.
again.
Well, thank you.